Alright guys, so we're on the tailgate of the Ram again today, and today we're going to be doing some grinder safety tips. And what sparked this video is about a month ago I posted a photo in the Facebook group of this grinding wheel, and I gave a little bit of backstory there. We're going to give a backstory here in a minute once we get to that point, but basically I was going to give some just overview on grinder safety. So first things first that we want to do is anytime we're changing wheels, changing guards, anything like that, you want to make sure it's unplugged or you don't have a battery in it. Obviously this is a cordless one. As you can see, there's no battery in there, but good safety thing, you want, like I said, make sure that there's no power to it. You don't want to accidentally hit your paddle switch or something and turn it on, or if you have a stop switch, an on-off stop switch, you don't want to hit that either. Use your little sissy handle on there. They come with every grinder for a reason. The next thing is you need good eye protection, and eye protection is actually like a two-pronged assault when it comes to a grinder. You need a good set of safety glasses with side shields on them so that sparks don't bounce off your ear or something like that and get in behind the glass. I've actually had that happen before, where they'll get in behind, where I've had some safety glasses that didn't have very good side shields on them. So you want to make sure that they've got side shields on them. They should be Z87 is your ANSI number that you're looking for. Don't use your aviator sunglasses. If you do have an incident with a grinder and you're wearing a pair of aviator sunglasses, if you manage to not end up looking like Captain Ron by the end of it, it will be despite those sunglasses, not because of them. Tinted safety glasses are fine, but just make sure they are a safety glass. The other thing, you really need to have a face shield, whether it's a welding helmet like this one here or just one of those plastic face shields. Again, make sure that your ANSI numbers are right on that. I don't know what the numbers on those offhand are, but you want to make sure that anything that you are using will protect you should there ever be an incident. The next thing you want to talk about, we kind of already touched on it, is the guard. You want to make sure that you have the proper guard. There's actually two different guards depending on what you're doing. And a lot of people don't realize that. The guard that I have on here now is a Type 27 guard. That's for your normal grinding stone like this, that you would use to sharpen a lawnmower blade or something like that. You also would use this guard for flap discs if you're using a flap disc for something. The other guard is a Type 1 guard, which is used for the 1/16 inch cutoff wheels. If you can see this on the camera, but they're about half the size. This is an 1/8, this is a 1/16, so if you understand math, you know that a 1/16 is less than an 1/8. I hope I don't have to explain that to anybody out there. If you can't understand that, please just stop the video now. But you need a Type 1 guard for a Type 1 wheel. It's kind of funny how they did that. They put those numbers together like that. And these actually have more protection on them than the Type 27. Because these wheels are so flimsy, if something ever happens, you tweak it the wrong way, or if it's got a crack in it, something that you can't see, and it flies apart, it's designed to contain more of that inside. One last thing, and then I'll tell you the story behind this wheel. You may want to have a set of leather gloves on hand. That's kind of a your choice type thing. Obviously, when you're grinding on a piece of metal, you create friction and things like that. Friction creates heat. The piece of metal you go to pick up may be very hot, so a good set of leather gloves is good to keep on hand. That being said, when you're using a bench grinder, you never, ever, ever wear gloves when you're using a bench grinder, because if something ever does happen, what's going to happen is the bench grinder will grab the glove itself and it will suck your hand into the bench grinder. So, angle grinder, if you want to use it for handling your material and stuff like that, is perfectly fine. Bench grinder, under no circumstances. If the piece of metal is getting too hot and you can't hold on to it with a bench grinder, get a pair of pliers or something to hold it. Just never wear a pair of gloves. Now, on to this. And this here happened one day when we were working on a large piece of equipment at work, and we were trying to cut some bolts, the heads off of some bolts that we couldn't get out. And everything was going fine for the first 3 bolts. I think there was 4 bolts that we had to cut. if I remember correctly, and everything went fine for the first 3. The 4th one we cut, no problems whatsoever. The guy that was using the grinder at the time, because this piece of equipment that we were working on, the way it was set up, you basically had to have one person on one side and one person on the other. The guy that was on the other side, when he started to cut the head off, he cut it off, but it left a burr on the shank of the bolt. And he tried to use a cutoff wheel to grind that little burr off. And what happened, when you try to use one of these 16th inch wheels to grind with, what you do is, they're not designed for that, and they start to shatter. Now, luckily enough, what I believe happened is the wheel started to bounce when he did that, and it caused the chips to start flying off, and he stopped immediately. So, luckily enough, everybody had proper protection, PPE on at the time, so nobody was hurt. But there's a lot of people out there that don't realize that, you know, this wheel cannot do what this wheel does, and this wheel can't really do what this one does. It can to an extent, but it does a really messy job of it. So I thought it would be a good opportunity to get on here for some of the people that don't know. There are different wheels for a reason. I mean, if you ever walk down the grinding wheel aisle over at Lowe's, they've got about 200 different wheels that all do 200 different functions. But for the most part, you're either grabbing a Type 27 or a Type 1. These two will do about 90% of the work that you want to do with an angle grinder. So that's all that I really have on this video. I'm going to try and keep it short. I do want to say we do still have some stickers available if you guys are interested in those. There's an email address in the description of this video. We have about 50 stickers left, a little over 50. Just shoot me an email with your name and your address, and we'll get them sent out to you. If you've already got some stickers and you'd like a second set, I have no problem sending anybody a second set. Please continue to use the Amazon links, and there's also links to the social media groups that we have. There's a Facebook group, a Twitter account, and a Instagram account. I don't know anything about Twitter or Instagram, so I don't even run those 2 accounts. Those are done by Monica. So you guys, if you're talking on there, you'll be talking with her. And as for that, the only other thing I have is I want to give another quick shout out to my moderators out there in the Facebook group. They do a great job. There's Jay Bartrug, Amanda, Morgan. Again, if you guys don't know, Amanda is responsible for the top 10 contributor prize idea. So if, you know, again, keep thanking her for that, because that's something I probably never would have thought of in 100 years. There's Eric Atten. He does a great job of answering people's questions, making sure that people get in the group when they request membership and things like that, because it is a closed group. So all those guys do a great job. Really, me and Monica are the only 2 that have stake in this, and they show up every day and do their thing on there. So that's a lot to ask out of anybody. But other than that, guys, as always, like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next video.